shaped the ground. They just dug around it.
Yeah, they brought in earth and turned it into a pyramidal mound over the
But
top.
it wasn't.
It's
so
not,
it's just.
It's not
stacked
massive
on
stone
top.
blocks. It's not massive stone. That's why they can grow crops on the sides of some of these pyramids.
Wow, how weird.
Yeah.
So they would build these giant mounds of dirt and then dig holes in them and support them. And like,
Well,
what
they
would
probably
do on the
they
inside of
probably
it?
created the interior, subterranean as they were building the whole thing over it. Yeah.
And then just stack dirt on top of it.
Yeah.
Wow, what a weird way to make a house.
Yeah, and then we have to consider this with archaeological sites all around the world, is that any site may actually not be the product of just one culture, but may have been reworked and worked over and used by many different cultures over many different periods.
Stunning to me. I found out about this because of a friend of John Anthony West who was here with him. He showed me, he lives in China, and he was showing me some video of it. And I was like, how do I not know about this? I had no idea there was this many of them. Oh, so here's one that's exposed? What's this?
Controversial ancient pyramids of China.
That one looks exposed. It's
and that
made with
one looks
stone.
blocky. Yeah, yeah.
Well, that is another thing about China that we just don't have a clue. When we think about the age and scale of things, we're so silly. We've only been around since 1776 is when the country was established. It's not really that long ago. You're dealing with China. You're dealing with literally thousands of years of civilization, all rising and falling and taking place and adapting and growing, all in this one area. That's still, in our eyes, in a lot of ways, it's kind of behind. Right? I mean, they're behind environmentally. They're behind when it comes to human rights.
Consider this. The Portuguese, in the late 1400s, have rounded the Cape of Good Hope, and they've entered the Indian Ocean in their little ships. They've entered the Indian Ocean, and they actually establish a huge empire. They go to Malacca. They go all over the place, okay? The seas are open to them. If they had come 40 years earlier, they would have encountered the Chinese treasure ships. Ships that were 50 times larger than the little caravels that the Portuguese were sailing in. Varsia, you know what the Chinese did at that time? They went through a period where they felt they just wanted to give gifts to people. And they put together these huge fleets carrying incredibly precious gifts, silks and ceramics, and they took them all around the Indian Ocean and they just gave them to people.
Wow.
So off the coast of East Africa and in East Africa, you can find remains of this pottery from this episode. And then a Chinese emperor came along, and he closed the doors, burned all the boats, shut everything down, and didn't let anybody speak to China for 200 years.
Whoa, what a dick.
Well, he felt that it was time for the Chinese culture to turn inward.
Yeah.
And they were afraid that their ancient culture, on one hand, there might have been maybe a laudable motive in that they were concerned that the ancient culture was going to get contaminated by too much contact with degenerate cultures from other places, and that was a factor in it.
That constant desire to maintain the current situation.
It's human. We have to say it's some kind of human nature.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd love to see some of these images of
let's look at some
the
cool
drone stuff from the Camas Prairie and what
Yeah,
else.
let's please.
And let's have a look at it. You got that
I want to
material
get
there,
that.
Jay?
Show
Those
that picture of
Chinese
you up
pyramids
on
are
the
still
erratic.
blowing my mind.
They blow my mind as well.
I just
It's-
can't believe that they haven't been excavated.
It's an eerie, spooky scene. I mean, I recommend anybody to go to Xi'an and just it's incredible how many of them there are. And how unexplained it all is. And it feeds into my general point, is we don't remember our past.
What are we looking at here?
Okay, let's. Can we pause so I can talk about what we're looking at?
Yeah, you look at this one, that way you can hit the mic right in front of you.
Okay, this is the beginning of it. Okay, here's what we're
Get
looking
that mic right up to you there.
We're looking at a place in western Montana called Camas Prairie. And you see some hills in the foreground and you see a basin in the background, right? Okay, right here on top of this hill and down on the side here, you see that there are some quarrying operations. Those are quarrying gravel. Because everything you're looking at here, this whole landscape between the hills, are these large masses of gravel, trillions